Hi everyone, I'm Eugene and welcome to the channel. I'm here at Mini Bangsa to take a look at my favorite Mini model, which is this. It's the Mini JCW 3-door. We're going to do a quick walk-around review of this car. So this is actually the second facelifted model for the F56, and this color that you see here is called Rebel Green. It's one of the special colors that we have for our JCW models. Alright, so with the facelifted model, basically you have an updated design for the bumper, which actually looks much more aggressive compared to the previous model. We also have now all the grills in piano black as well as those along the headlights. And you have these lovely bonnet stripes, okay, which has some red pinstripes at the side, which makes it stand out. You also have this red lining along the front grille, and you can see the mirror caps and the roof are all in chili red, which really makes this car stand out. Yeah, so what's under the hood? Well, basically you have a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, which produces 231 horsepower. Torque is at 320 Newton meters. Right, the weight of this car is one of the lightest Mini that we have, which is 1,295 kilos. All right, so with that kind of power, it has very good power to weight ratio, and acceleration is pretty quick. 0 to 100 km is only 6.1 seconds. Okay, so pretty fast. Top speed is just slightly below 250. It's about 246 to be exact kilometers per hour. All right, so it's a paired to 8-speed Steptronic sports transmission. Okay, and it also has actually an electronic limited slip diff, okay, for much better handling. If we move on to the side here, okay, we have this 18-inch wheels, which has run flat tires with it, and these brakes are also one of the biggest brakes that you'll find on our Minis, okay, which is a 4-pot caliper, okay, made by Brembo, and the disc is also about one of the biggest, I think at 335 millimeters if I'm not mistaken. Suspension, yeah, these are running on adaptive suspension. So depending on the driving mode that you're on, okay, the stiffness of the suspension will differ. Alright, so if you're in the mood for some sporty driving, you flick it into sport mode. Alright, the suspension, the absorbers will actually get a little bit stiffer. Okay, and of course, if you want it comfortable, you can put it back to mid mode, okay, and you have a bit more comfort. All right. So if you take a look here, it's our 3-door design. Okay. You have your fuel filler cap here. Okay. The tank, it's 44 liters, and at the back, okay, what we have here is also the JCW rear spoiler. Okay, it's a bigger spoiler compared to the standard 3-door. And then you have your JCW badge on the tailgate, and of course the Union Jack tail lights with the piano black trim surrounds. So it looks very British, very Mini from the rear. Okay, and moving to the bottom here, all right, you have a huge diffuser, and you got these lovely twin tailpipes in the center. So overall, it looks really aggressive from the rear. It's got a very nice stance as well. Okay. Oh yeah, let's take a look at the boot. Okay, so boot space is 211 liters. There's additional storage space at the bottom here. Okay, just break that down. Rear seats are foldable. You can fold them flat completely if you need to store larger things in your boot. Okay, as well as this rear shelf here, you can actually dismantle it just by unhooking this string here and pulling it out. Okay. Alright, so let's take a look inside. Well, the first thing you notice when you open the door is, of course, these beautiful JCW Dynamica seats. Alright, I think we've seen that in my previous video, in the one that I reviewed, the Mini GP. Yeah, so it's pretty much the same thing. Alright, so these seats are very supportive. Okay, it's the cushion feels a bit firm. Okay, but it's good for actually holding you in place while cornering. Okay, so there are 3 different types of materials that you have here. You have Alcantara here. Okay, you have leather on the side, and you have a bit of cloth on the side as well. Okay, but these are very nice seats to sit on. Okay, so let's take a look inside. Okay, so you have your 3-spoke steering with the JCW logo here, and you have your pedal shift, okay, at the back of the steering, and it's one of the usual, I mean, it's the steering that you get in all Minis. Okay, so of course over here you have your media controls, your phone controls, and on the left you have all your cruise control buttons here. Okay, and behind this you have this 5-inch digital instrument cluster, and this is actually an 8.8-inch screen, touchscreen in the central display that you get. Right, so you have all these lovely toggle switches with all the Minis that you get nowadays. Okay, and of course this red start-stop button. This is your gear lever for the 8-speed Steptronic transmission. Okay, it's quite interesting because most of all the other Mini models, the Coupe S models, are all now using the 7-speed dual clutch, but for the JCWs, we've kept it with the 8-speed Steptronic transmission. And this one, of course, you know, you don't get this in many modern cars now, but you have a manual handbrake instead of the electronic one. And over here you have your controls for your iDrive. You have also here space for the wireless charging, okay, which also acts as an armrest, okay, which you can push up or push down. Alright. So one thing I noticed also, the trim I think is a bit different now. We have this aluminium trim inside, which is slightly different from the previous models. And we have a heads-up display. Okay, and one thing, if you notice, this car doesn't come with a Harman Kardon sound system. Okay, it has the standard 6-speaker system, and also it does not have a sunroof. So in Malaysia for this year, there will be a few different variants. Alright, there's one that will come with the 12-speaker Harman Kardon sound system with a sunroof, which is priced at 325,000. Okay, this one that you see here, I would love to call it the performance spec version. Okay, because it is actually the lightest, because you only have 6 speakers, so you save a little bit of weight from having less speakers, and you also do not have a sunroof, alright, which makes it even lighter. So this would be the lightest JCW 3-door that you can get, alright, and of course without those it's actually priced a bit lower at 310,000 ringgit. Okay, for that you will get one of the most fun Mini that you can drive. Okay, basically a JCW is been tuned to handle very well on track. Okay, I've tried it on track last time, and it's really fun. Okay, it's got a lot of grip. It's very easy to handle as well. Okay, and it feels very nimble. Okay, the suspension of course is going to be a bit firm, but like I mentioned, you have the different driving modes which you can play, which will alter how the suspension would feel. Alright, so I mean, if you have in sport mode, basically the steering, of course, the steering feel will get a little bit heavier. You have better throttle response. The exhaust will sound a bit louder, and with this, because of the adaptive suspension, you get a little bit stiffer. Right, so for sport mode, it's good for, you know, windy road driving or track driving. Right, but it's something that you can play around with. Okay, so yeah, I mean, this is definitely the most exciting Mini in production right now that you can get. Right, this is front engine and front wheel drive. Right, if the other models like the Clubman and Countryman, basically those are all four, they are driving all four wheels, but this is the only front wheel drive. Right. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that quick walk around review of the Mini JCW 3-door. Alright, once I have more models coming in, I'll do more reviews for you. And if you enjoyed this video, do like and subscribe to the channel to support it. And if you'd like to share this with your friends, please go ahead. Alright, so I'll see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.